Now, if you're a man who's a heterosexual, or perhaps a bisexual, or even a lesbian, or even something human with sexual desires at all, you at one time have probably thought of seeing Scarlett Johansson naked. And when I heard about the movie Under the Skin, released in 2013, I heard that Scarlett Johansson takes it all off, shows us absolutely everything. And at that moment I thought, how is it I have not heard of this movie before? Because I heard about it in 2015. And here's the thing. It's a European art film. I believe it was designed, it was put together in Scotland, I think. And to start out with, you need to understand this is a slow, methodical movie designed to sort of take your brain and twist it around quite a lot. Under the Skin is the kind of movie that is completely native to the theater itself. You need to watch this movie in a dark room on a big screen in order to properly appreciate it, and partially because you can't see crap if you don't. And now critics have raved about this film, but as it's a brain bender, you have Scarlett Johansson playing a non-human entity under human skin, going about our world and doing something. You're not sure exactly what, but doing something. And yes, in this movie she gets naked, she runs around in lingerie. There is absolutely no part of her anatomy left to question. Nothing is left for the imagination. You see absolutely everything of her. You also see a bunch of naked dudes, and, well, you see a lot of strange, bizarre things. It's like being in a dream. But the problem I had with Beneath the Skin is that it is essentially being in a very slow, boring dream. In fact, I couldn't sit down and watch it in one sitting. I had to get up and do something else because the movie just was so slow. And you're sitting there looking at Scarlett Johansson being hot, and it's not bringing you in. It's rather taking you out. Now, I will say this is a piece of art, and you can't give it a grade. It's ungradable. This is art. I would say, you know, you're an 18-year-old or older, you probably owe it to yourself to go watch this movie because it's art. It makes you think. That's what it's designed for. But it wasn't a great movie. I mean, it had an emotional impact. That's what it was designed to do. But truly, to say that it was a great movie, I don't want to see more of this world. I'm not enticed. I'm not going to see the movie again to go try to figure out what was happening. I pretty much got what was happening. A non-human intelligence masquerading as a human was, I don't know, collecting information about humans and discovering the humanity of the human body without understanding it. Okay, that's understandable. I mean, I get it, but I do understand it's just a movie. And because it is so much just a movie, I'm not intrigued. I'm not brought into it. Now, the one part of the movie that is very pivotal is the introduction of a deformed man played by Adam Pearson. And the interesting thing about this is if you look at Mr. Pearson, that's not makeup. That's what he looks like. He has a condition that makes excess tissue grow at the end of his nerve fibers, I believe. And that's truly him. And because you have a human distorted, you then have another human distorted, played by Johansson, or a distortion of a human, and the two can relate. And this is something of a turning point in the tone and feeling of the film. Things change at this point. And it is at this point that the audience is meant to ask itself, what does it truly mean to be human? Again, fabulous performance by this fellow, but this is a movie that is going to be so strange and so out of your ballpark that you're not going to know what to think about it. Again, I cannot recommend it. I cannot not recommend it. It is a piece of art. It is what it is. You have to take it for what it is. That's life. Now, again, a lot of nudity, both male and female. There is some violence. There, even you could consider violence towards children in this. So be prepared if you're going to watch this movie. I believe it is now streaming on Amazon Prime. You need to sit down in a dark room with no distractions. It demands your full attention. And you need to make sure those lights are out. And don't be eating popcorn, because if you look away from that screen, you may miss something, even though this is a very, very slow film. Again, can't tell you what I think about it. It's too strange. Anyway, what's the strangest thing you've ever seen in your life? I'd love to know. Tell me down in the comments below. I'm Richard Neal.